Welcome to Secular Sessions, the show that explores the experiences of atheists in India. I'm your host, Raj, and in this show, I will be talking to fellow atheists from India about their personal journeys and experiences of living as a non-believer in a country where religion plays a significant role in society. Secular Sessions is a bilingual show with a conversation taking place in both Hindi and English. By doing so, I aim to reach a wider audience and shed light on the experiences of atheists from all parts of the country. I hope that this show will provide a platform for atheists to share their stories and for viewers to gain a deeper understanding of what it means to be an atheist in India. Join us as we explore the world of atheism and secularism in India on Secular Sessions. Hello friends, so today I'm joined by Sean. It's a pleasure having you here. Before we start, I just want to know, what is atheism according to you?
According to me, it's basic idea that there is no God. And to be fair, there cannot be a God in the current form of how religion portrays it. So religion, any religion portrays is that there is a sky father, mother, whatever you call it, or
Yep.
non-sexual, perhaps no gender, God,
Mhm.
like they say for Allah, who looks after you, who checks you.
Mhm.
I am against that kind of God. There's another
Okay.
God where they say that universe could have been created
Mhm.
by, let's say, in a science lab, and they would
Mhm.
call that a God. I'm not
Yeah.
against that because technically it is possible that this universe is part of or was an experiment. I mean, we do experiments all the time.
Mhm.
So it is possible this universe would have been part of an experiment which we don't know of.
Mhm.
But the point being, that God does not interact with this life. That I'm sure
Okay.
of. So if you talk about religious God, I'm
Mhm.
totally against that. That's just not possible. It's an impossibility in current sense. However, in the form of science, yes, it
Mhm.
is possible this universe was created as an experiment. But at the same time, it is a fact that that universe does not interact with this universe, or not that we know of currently.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, when you say that the universe could have been created, we don't even know if that is the case. This is what we're just jumping to the
Yeah,
conclusion, I believe.
yeah, exactly. I totally agree. But the question can be put in a couple of forms. Was the universe created to start with? How do you know that it was created? Again, I'm assuming, but then that's my assumption. Let's call it 1% of 100. So
Mhm.
I'm just pointing out like what people refer to as God and what I'm referring to, what atheism is, which is
Mhm.
I do not believe there's a God which is a religious God, first of all. I don't even think there's a universal God, which is like a science lab code guy who made this universe. I don't even think that. But to be honest about the discussion, that is one possibility. You have to agree to that.
Yes.
That is a possibility. So I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah, I
Even I
mean,
don't think that's a case.
yeah, things are probable for sure. I mean, I could
Yeah.
just think of something random and then can say that, yes, sure, there is a possibility of an invisible dragon in my room.
Yep.
And that's again, because that's how science work, I suppose. It
Exactly.
is called a theory. It's as good as a fact, but still things can change.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's what happens. And your family, does anyone know that you're an atheist?
Everyone.
Everyone in
I
your
mean,
family.
yeah. So being honest, in India, it's easier being an atheist in the India, or I'll call it Indus River religion. So I don't know if there's a name for that. Basically,
Mhm.
if you're Jain, if you're a Buddhist, if you're a Hindu, or if you're
Mhm.
Sikh, it's easier
Yep.
being an atheist because it's not enforced. If you were part of a Abrahamic religion, that's totally a different thing. And I think I have a reason for that. In Abrahamic religions, you have like one God, and if you don't
Mhm.
believe in one thing, that's a problem. But that's not the case with this Indus Valley religions. We have multiple gods. In fact, if you check my mother's room, there are like 5, 10 statues for different gods, maybe more, perhaps.
Yeah.
So it's something Richard Dawkins also said. The difference between an atheist and a theist is that I believe one less God than you. And when you
Yes,
have
true.
so many gods, and when you have so
Mm.
many gods in industrial religion or this thing, whatever you call it, it does not matter if you don't believe in your God because they know there are multiple. And at the end of the day, they just don't care. That's why it's not that enforced, to be honest. Now it has started because of unfortunate government things, which we
Hmm.
can discuss later. But yeah,
Yeah. No,
we
that's
don't have that
another.
kind of force.
Yeah, that is another thing though. Like even if you're talking about in this religion, I'm
Mhm.
assuming you're talking about Hinduism.
I am,
And
yes.
yes, so even in that religion, there is a lot of favorite gods. Like ISKCON just think Krishna is great,
Yeah,
and then some others just think Shiv is great, and then
exactly.
there's so many online videos about like why Krishna is better than Shiva. When they talk
E-
about this stuff, it reminds me of like why is Batman better than Superman, or why is
I, I,
Superman better?
exactly. But because it's so, it trains the minds of these Indians or whoever is in this industry or around
Mhm.
that if he does not believe in my God, he's not a bad person. That's not the same case for Abrahamic religion. For them,
Yeah.
because it's one, it becomes a big problem. For us, if he does not believe in my God, that's okay because many people don't. I don't care. So for them, it's okay. If you have like 50,000 options, I just
Mm,
don't choose anyone. They don't care about it.
mm.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
true. Interesting
And
perspective.
being from my family, well, to be honest here, my mother is a doctor, or was. Now she's retired. My father,
Uh-huh.
an engineer, he worked on Barmer Research Center,
Mhm.
nuclear power station.
Wow.
So these are educated people. They used to believe, to be honest, and my mother still does in a way. Like she
Mhm.
would just say thank you, and that's about it. But it started like I do not care about your Tuesday thing. Like you cannot eat non-veg on Tuesday. It
Oh
started like
man.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it started like that. So we were eating like chicken on Monday. We are
Mhm.
non-vegetarians,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Okay, we cannot eat it tomorrow, so finish this." I said, "It's going to stay in my stomach anyway for tomorrow. What logic does that make? Right? I'm not going to poop 2 days from now. I'm going to stay like this for next 24 hours. So it's in my
Mm.
stomach technically.
Mhm.
So why? What logic does it make? It started with that. Then it started with that kanjak thing. You know how they do that
Oh
seven
yeah,
day
the
fast, growing the grass
yes.
thing in the pot. It
Okay.
went to that. Actually, I think either it started from Tuesday or kanjak because in kanjak they don't use the onions and garlic. So I
Which
did
state is
not
that?
like Delhi, North India. I
North India.
did not like it. I did not like it one bit that they don't use because the food taste is destroyed, and I'm more concerned about the food than your God.
I do, yeah. I mean, without fried onions,
Exactly.
it,
So
it
any
yeah.
kind of onion, anything which is dug out of ground, because the thinking is the insects they lose their life, which is true. It does, but that's not how we think. If that was the
But
case, a lot of things would not work.
yeah, I mean, if they're worried about the insects, I mean, even the women using the lipsticks, some of the lipsticks
Yeah.
have fish scales in it. So, you know.
Yeah, now it's all different. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's not the only thing. We kill mosquitoes, don't we? So they're saying
Yeah.
we don't Jannies, they don't walk with slippers because they think they can kill an animal by accident
Yeah.
or insect. Dude, I see Janny using those rackets to burst out
Mm.
mosquitoes. So
Yeah.
that happens. They're the same thing.
Yes. I mean, if you should have one rule for all,
Yeah,
which is not the case in practicality, which is
exactly.
that's another thing though, is like if you can eat non-vegetarian, and eating a chicken is fine. Why other animals are the problem?
Yeah,
You know?
cows and everything.
And
Now,
and then
if I had to put onto that, I am against non-veg, not because of religious ground, because I think it's just wrong. Still
Mhm.
eat it. I'm against it, as in I
Okay.
think it's the same as slavery. But now,
Hmm.
so if you were born 300 years ago, and if you talk to any of the slavers, they say it's a normal process. We have to get the work done because for
Hmm.
them the concept of free people was not there. In
Yeah.
the same way, I think for us the concept that we are killing animals for food is okay, but it's not really okay. Those animals do suffer, and that's a problem. So I'm against that. I would switch instantly to plant-based meat if it was viable enough, or
Mm.
lab-grown meat if it was viable enough. I would switch it today this second if I could. And it's the same thing with slavers. I think it's the same thing. Nothing to do with religion, but that's the case.
That's a tough one because I do go back and forth with vegetarianism and versus non-vegetarian. I am a non-vegetarian,
Yeah, but
but
think about that. Think about it in form of as a slaves. If you talk to them, do they say anything different than you are right now? Because they used to think that black people don't have any sense, they are not smart enough as white people, all that. We say that for animals. I know they're not smart enough, but they do still feel pain,
yeah, but
have feelings.
comparing slaves with the animal is slightly different because with
Uh,
slaves you can actually communicate in the same language, and with animals we can't have the same communication. I do get the
that's
point.
yeah,
Uh,
that's not the case. It's not just about communication. Can you not communicate with pigs, for example? People eat
No,
pigs,
I
right?
mean
Or
we
cow.
can communicate with pigs or chickens or whoever. Like I mean, even it's a negative or a positive communication,
Yeah,
even if you're trying to butcher a hen or whatever, then
yeah,
you can see something in their thing
yeah.
then in on their face, so you can communicate.
Yeah, think about
And
that. The reaction is the same when they get hurt. It's the same then when they get hurt. So it's
yes,
not just
yes,
communication.
yes, they
So
do.
yeah, so my point being like I'm putting it as a slavery not because it's the same bad deal. I'm putting
Mm,
it like we just don't know how bad it is, like we did not know how bad slavery was. It's not we as in
okay.
we as a human.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure what would be the solution of that, to be
It's a different
honest.
topic though.
Yes, that's why I was trying to get back to
Sure, sure.
just one topic for now. And
Sure.
I know things go haywire sometimes.
Yep. They
And
totally do.
so you did mention that you thought started to think about Kanjak and stuff, and that's when
Yeah.
you become when that's when you started to critically think about being an atheist,
No,
or how
no.
did you actually become an atheist?
No, no, this is a funny story and a bit
Mhm.
long one, like it will take 4 3 4 minutes for me
Take your
speaking.
time.
When I was young, and I'm talking when I was 12, 13, I was
Mhm.
really into football. Not cricket,
Oh
but
yeah.
football. In India, it's cricket, but I like football. And
Nice.
then I came to know that at around 14, World Cup was about to start for football.
Mhm.
And what I did was I started praying. And when I said praying, I said really, really hard. Please
Yeah.
give India at least one World Cup. One, at
Mm,
least one. It sounds weird now, but I did it at that point of time. And then it took me like 2 days, 3 days, 1 week. And this is the time when you did not have any other source of information other than newspaper. So remember, all
yeah.
my information is coming from a newspaper, right? So think about
Yeah.
that. Now, while this is going on, after a couple of days, I
Mhm.
came to know India never even qualified for World Cup.
Oh wow. Yes. I was
My
gonna ask you about it.
Exactly. So you, imagine how stupid I was looking to myself that I did
Mm,
not know this and I was praying.
mm,
And then it, well, kind of a realization if God does not care, India is even part of World Cup and he's waiting for me to pray.
mm,
What are the adults doing? What are they praying for? What are they praying to? Right now, it's a small
mm,
thing. So that did not make me exactly an atheist, but it made me realize that God is, well, like another human being. He
mm,
can keep on listening to you, but he would not do it like parents. You can keep on asking toys, they'll just not give you because
mm.
you don't deserve it right now. So
Let's discuss
whenever
it, but I'm not giving it to you.
yeah, that was my thought process as a 12 or 13-year-old. Okay. Now, I went to these temples with my friends. We used to do that. We have a big one over here. We just walk over there, drink water after playing.
Mhm,
Instead of, closing your hand and bowing down, I used to salute the God. And people were asking, why are you doing this? I said, it's God. If he's good God, he would understand.
mm.
That I don't mean no respect, disrespect. It's my style of saying hi. Simple as
I
that.
mm,
But that went on to become no food on Tuesday and more thought process like, is there a God eventually?
mhm,
Because if I praying and there's nothing, like even a small thing as football, where I did not even know that such thing existing, which is we never even were qualified. Or
mhm.
is there a gods with the Kanjak thing? Eventually, it started happening.
So
When I
it
was 12,
snowballed.
yeah, exactly. When I was 12, there was no one. I knew there was a word called Nastik.
Oh
I knew
yes.
the meaning of it, but I've never
Mhm.
seen one.
Yes.
I,
I've just heard the word Gnostic in the movies, basically, in a very
yeah,
derogatory way.
yeah. but I've never seen anyone. That's when it snowballed eventually, because I saw my perspective changed because of that football thing. Because if it happened to me, I did my lack of knowledge caused me to waste my couple of days asking, like begging to an
Mhm.
unknown entity I've not seen, what are these adults doing? Then I started
Yeah.
asking questions, and when I did, that's when the loopholes started coming up. No, they do here. You just have to work on yourself. I said, okay, if I have to work on yourself, then what's the point of praying? That's why I went to saluting God as a
There's
respect,
an
not
in
because I'm asking.
Yeah, there is an interesting saying, God helps those who help themselves.
Yeah, maybe just help yourself when God does not have to be involved. That's what I came to at the end. So
Hmm.
that was when I thought like, okay, there must be a God. Everyone says that, but he
Hmm.
does not care what we are doing. So might as well just salute him, show him respect, and move on. But then it eventually went on to become, you know what? There is no God. It's all bullshit. So yeah, it was a
So
snowball that started with football.
yeah, there's one thing that you said, and I have to ask you.
Sure.
So is it just Tuesday that you're not allowed to eat meat, or is it Thursday as well? Because in my family, it's Thursday and Saturday as well.
No, it's Tuesday only.
Okay.
Punjabis, and that too, like I said, in fact, my father used to never agree. Now that I realize, because my mother say he's dead now, but
Mhm.
he used to
Sorry to
not
hear that.
care about it. That's okay.
Mm.
It's okay. Everyone dies. It's a big deal. You don't have to be sorry about that. When
No, I
someone dies,
mean,
I don't say sorry. I understand what you mean by that, but what I'm saying
mhm.
is everyone dies. It's okay. It's a human thing
Yes.
for now.
Mm. I hope they generate some cryo sleep or something. My biggest idea would be if they can put some cryo chambers and I can just go in there, freeze my body for, I don't know, 1,000 years
That's
and
not a
then
good
wake
way.
up.
Yeah,
No,
scientifically, that's not a good way. I'll give you an
I'm
idea.
not going, yeah, I'm not going in the logic, but this is just in the,
Yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
then I want to wake up 1,000 years later and I want to see
yeah.
how badly we stuffed up the planet. Or,
No, how good we did. That's what I care
yeah,
about. But to be
yeah.
honest here, the way would be to actually take your brain and put it on a computer. That's a better way of doing things. We
Mm,
did it for everything else. Why not humans? We did
we
it
have
for everything
uploaded.
else. Everything is in computers. Why not our brain? That's how we
Mm.
become immortal. Body is just mortal.
And
Anyway, yeah.
when you become an atheist, did it
Uh-huh.
impact your life personally? Like how did everybody around you reacted?
Again, because it's more like an open culture, and actually it's I've not been to south much, but in north India it's more an open culture. Nobody
Mhm.
cared, and mostly because most are educated. So
Oh, that's true.
but the biggest impact was to myself. I started thinking openly. I changed my life myself. That's what I believe. Most of the money that I made it myself. In the same way, most of the knowledge that I gained, including this,
Mhm.
is I did it myself. This small change of thinking that no, there's no one who will come to protect you. There's
Mhm.
no one who would come down and help you out. You have to help yourself. Made me wiser,
Yeah.
made me work on the things that I wanted. So it changed me. I don't care what people took per se. They were the same anyway, but it made
Yes.
me wiser because now I know I need to work on what I need. There's no
Mm.
help, there's no God, there's no protection. I have to do it by myself. So yeah, it made me wiser.
I do
Wiser.
understand that some of
Yeah.
the atheists do become slightly wiser because if they don't find a solution to something, they actually go and look for it.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes believers just give up and then it's like, oh, it must be right because God has done it. So,
Exactly. That's called full stop. So you have a sentence. Life is like a sentence.
mhm,
They end up adding a full stop at the end of the things they don't know about. That's not
mm,
what it is do. We may say, which like I did in the beginning of the call, I don't know. It's a
mhm,
possibility, but that does
yeah.
not mean I'll stop looking. It's the same thing for them, for us basically.
So, according to you, do you think that religion has any positive impacts on the society if you look at it from now?
I cannot say that it does not
Uh,
have any positive, as in it's able to group people together, which is generally a difficult thing to do.
mm,
So hate is easy to sell. Hate
true.
is really easy to
Very
sell.
true.
In fact, I can make Daily Daredevils hate Chennai Super King, for example, and that will group people up. Right.
Mm,
Religion has elements of hate, but
mm,
it still is able to group people together. And like sick people, I applaud them. because while I don't think any other religion does that, they have these open areas where anyone could come in and eat, and they do it like hundred, few thousand a day, food
Golden
meals for
Temple.
free. Golden Temple, and that's not the only one. Like there's one in Delhi, there's one in Haryana, there's one in Noida, those
Yeah.
kind of things. Langars, you may have. It's all
Yes.
over the world actually. I don't see
Yes.
anyone else doing that, but they do it because they combine together. So, for example, my mother would go on Sunday and they will go there and wash plates. Now, there's a
Mm-hmm.
doctor sitting next to I don't know who, but they are washing plates together,
Mm-hmm.
not because they are praying to God, because they just want to serve. They feel better that way. Religion, I think the only redeeming point is it's able to group people together. It can actually, I should not say it does. It
Mm-hmm.
can group people together and make them do something good. Otherwise, grouping people is easier when you make them hate something.
Yeah,
If you go to any subreddit, if you go to any subreddit, they might hate something. If you go to our
Yeah.
pit bulls, they hate pit bull nutters. If you go
Mm-hmm.
to people who say ban pit bulls, they hate people who have pit bulls. If you go to DC Comics, they hate Marvel Comics because they think it's all, well, a part of like blocks. Just add the block and a movie would be created. And they love Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder is an idiot, for example. He does not know
Yeah.
how to make movie. That's a hate that I have incurred,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what religion does. In a way it does. Again, it has elements of it, and some religion have more than the others. For
Mm-hmm.
example, Islam, again, Abrahamic religion have quite a lot of it because it's based on one single god.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case with Hinduism. You will find the
Mm-hmm.
elements of it where we have casteism and Shudra caste and all that, but it's not guided towards a person who is not religious. It's not
It's not.
against atheists, or not that I know of. It could also be because of my lack of knowledge, but I don't know if these religions around India they would ever hate someone for not believing in a god. They may discriminate against it, but hate would be like, okay, we will kill you for not believing in our god. That's not the case in India.
Um, yes and no. Yes, in like the people that I've met, I really don't know anyone that I meet in person would do
Mhm.
such a thing. And I
Okay,
am friends with mostly Hindu people and Sikh
okay,
people. And I have
okay.
been to Golden Temple, and it's amazing how many people they serve every day. That's unbelievable. And I get your point when you're saying that they wouldn't hate someone enough to kill someone. But then you go on
Exactly.
Twitter and stuff, and because of their thinking, because of the honor killing,
Uh-huh.
because that thing is within their religion, like the casteism is a bigger thing that has
Yes,
caused people to die,
yes, I agree.
you know.
I agree. I totally agree. But again, it sounds like it's more like my ignorance than my words. I most likely am ignorant, but I've never read any book on Hinduism or Sikhism or any verses that says
Mm.
kill the non-believers. They maybe kill the non kill the other caste or there is actually there is for against the caste, but because we're discussing more about non-believers, that's what I was referring to, not specifically about caste.
Okay. I haven't read any holy books of any religion, so
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to comment on that.
Yeah.
It is an interesting read. Like some people do share few things here and there,
Mhm.
and some of the verses they pick up, there is quite hateful verses, and I will not be able to think it on the top of my head, so that's probably why I shouldn't really mention that. But yeah, I heard some of the hateful comments, but then again,
No,
it is what it is.
yep, totally true. You were broken over there, but that's okay. I understand your point.
Yeah, I'm broken beyond repair, bro.
I, no, I was just saying that you should try some of those mechanical tools to fix yourself, make yourself robotic. That's about it.
Yeah,
Jokes,
I
stupid
can.
jokes.
Yeah, no, that's all good. I'll be a RoboCop one day. So,
Yeah,
how do you think society will be different if more people are atheist?
they would be wiser to start with. That's the
Mhm,
first point.
mhm,
And the thing that people understand about being wise or wisdom is they may look at someone, he
mhm,
appears smart, but he would not
mhm.
be wise because wisdom and being smart or being intelligent are two different traits. As a
How is that?
society, well, totally. How's that? I know doctors, I know
Mm-hmm.
personal doctors, my friend, who would who are Muslim, for example. Let's pick them as an example. Easy enough
Yeah.
because they are like the stupidest religion currently.
Mm-hmm.
Stupidest religion currently. They are doctors. They work. They give medicine. They give those newly released medicine, which
Mm-hmm.
takes years to make, and they are made through the process of evolution. They test
Mm-hmm.
it. They see which part is working better. Then they pick that part and then test it again in new source, new biome,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all done through evolution. But at the same time, when I talk to them about evolution, they say no. Allah said there is no evolution. There was Adam and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
That person is intelligent. I would agree to that. But he's not
Mm-hmm.
wise in this sense. He's not able to relate the two things.
Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is different. Wisdom is able to understand what's reality and accepting it. These people can be intelligent in their job or even in regular life, but they are not
Mm-hmm.
wise. So if
Yes.
everyone was an atheist, the amount of wisdom would increase. That's point number one, which means I don't think we would have more wars. Now
Mm-hmm.
people would point out, so did Russia. Russia, like the Red Army that attacked everyone, and the
Mm-hmm.
Cambodia thing, which is
Yeah.
Mao. I think it was Mao or someone. Pol Pot. He killed so many people. And they said they were atheists. The reason they killed people was politics, not atheism. They did not kill people because they said, okay, you believe in God, you deserve to die. That was not the reason.
Yes.
That's a reason in regular cases where Syria would attack, let's say, Lebanon because, well,
Yeah,
you're
there is
Sunni and we are
Palestine.
Shia. Or
Yeah.
Palestine would attack Israel because you're
Yeah.
Jews and we're Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Pol Pot and whatever Russia
Mm-hmm.
did it not because it was related with atheism.
Mm-hmm.
They did it because it was politics. It's a different thing.
Politics. Yeah.
It just so happened they were atheist, and it's easier that way. But
Yeah. That. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, but what I was saying is people would be wiser, and the best example would be Sweden, Norway, Hungary. They have the highest HDI, which is Human Development Index in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and they are about like 40-50% atheist. So yeah, I am assuming more HDI and definitely more wise people.
Yes. No, that's interesting that you said. And coming back to that Muslim doctor who is intelligent
Yeah,
in his own field, like he can give you good medicine. Let's assume if he's
yeah,
a heart specialist and he just know about the heart, he would not know how to do a foot surgery because a
yeah,
lot
but
of
he
the
would
people
have an idea. No, but
he
he
would
would
have
have an
an
idea, right?
yeah
I
he
mean,
would
let's
have
say
an
if I'm on
Mhm.
a road, let's say I'm going to Ladakh and we have an accident together and
Mm.
my leg is broken. He being heart doctor does not mean he would help me. He would still know how to make sure bone is okay. Uh, Even
Yes.
I would know. I'm not a doctor. I'm more into IT, but I would understand how to keep the bone straight because that's
Mhm.
a logical thinking. That's called being smart. Being wise
Yes.
is different.
Yeah, the point that I was trying to get at,
Hmm.
and I understand the difference between intelligence and wisdom as per what you
Yeah.
say. The point that I was trying to get at is a lot of the people say if I'm asking that heart surgeon who I know can't do a foot surgery,
Hmm.
right? Because he hasn't specialized in that. But a lot of the people, what they do is they go and ask a doctor, even though a heart surgeon, and they can ask them, how do you cure a leg or a foot for
Yeah.
some reason? And they just believe whatever the heart surgeon say because they know that
Right.
person. So there is like a confirmation bias in there.
Yes.
If there's a good surgeon, good heart
Hmm.
surgeon, then he would say like, for now, just wrap it or do it, put it in a proper position and then
Hmm.
consult a foot surgeon. But
Exactly.
sometimes people use their
That's a wise thing to
power
say.
of, yeah,
Yep.
but sometimes people use their power of authority and tell them like you can do this and this and this and don't worry about for a couple of days and then if it still doesn't get better then consult someone.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know
So here's an example. Like if you hear about Richard Dawkins or his lectures, yeah, I think he
yeah.
mentioned once, maybe not him or someone else. He said
Mhm.
these creationists, they bring out every scientist and engineer and they prove that evolution is a lie. Well, I'm asking, did you bring any biologist?
Yeah,
Because
that
those are
is
the
true.
people actually, those are the people who actually are supposed to say that's because that's
Mm.
their field. So yeah. That
Yeah,
is
you
true.
mentioned about IT, and I'm from the IT field as well. And it took me a while to think about the God concept. One of my friend just asked me, "Why do you think in a God?" And I was like, I couldn't answer him properly. Like, there's
Mhm.
definite, and I was honest enough to myself to, say that. And because I never read books, right? So I
Right.
was like, it's because my parents said so. And then I started thinking, and then he asked, has your parents always been right? And it's really hard for an Indian fella to, think beyond what their parents say, right? Because we don't question our parents that much. Or where I'm brought up, at least I never had.
Yeah,
So,
that's where that thing came in when I started questioning at 12 or 13 that
mm,
if I'm dumb enough to not know if we never even were qualified for football. I'm stupid. What do adults know? That's when I started questioning them. That's
mm,
how you become wiser. You start questioning things. It's not smart, it's wise. You start questioning things. You try to understand the world. So yeah,
yeah,
we do
yeah,
over here. It's okay. You can question your
yeah.
parents. I do all the time.
Well, now I do, but in a proper way. You don't just jam in the question. You have to choose your words carefully. So, because in the end, if you
Yep,
really want to ask a question, you want them to understand what you're asking
yep,
rather than understand that you're attacking their beliefs. So you
yep,
have to use
totally.
your words carefully.
Yep, totally.
So the point I was trying to reach is in my brain, I have compartmentalized, yeah, I believe in evolution and a little bit of biology that I knew, but I
Mhm.
never thought about the God. I just didn't relate two and two together until
Yeah,
someone asked me a question. And then it's like walls started to fall down.
exactly. Snowball.
And then I could connect the dots, so to speak.
Yep, yep.
And
Snowball.
yeah, exactly. And that's when I started to think more and more
Yeah,
about it. And
totally.
I did think about a question because first,
Mhm,
if I would have died, then I would have gone to heaven. I was convinced of that because I've tried to be the nice person as I
mhm.
could. Now I'm
Isn't that
an
stupid? Isn't that stupid to be honest? Because
now I think yes. Now I
if you're
think
being nice for heaven, then you're not really nice. You're just being greedy because you think heaven is a better place than hell.
yes,
I want I
it
want like to
was
buy land in Europe
Mhm.
because I think it's better than India. That's being greedy. That's not really a nice thing, I would say.
Yeah, I
But
mean
yeah, not now.
I relate to it as because I was a well, I like chocolate, even though you can say I'm an
Mhm.
adult. I don't think like that. I like chocolate.
Everyone
So I
does.
thought of the example as it's
Mhm.
somebody giving me chocolate, and if you do
Yeah.
nice things, you get a chocolate.
Yep.
So this is how I relate to it's yes, you're right. I am doing it because I want the chocolate, not because for the sake of being nice.
Exactly.
So
So
my question to you is what do you think happen when people die?
Keanu Reeves said it, and I kind of agree. People around you get sad. That's
Oh wow.
one. Keanu Reeves said that, not me. But
I I sorry to interrupt, man. I have to say
yeah,
that I have listened to it and the way he said it hit me.
yeah, because he
Uh,
had a pause. But he's an actor. I'm not. I don't know when to give a
no,
pause when you're delivering a statement.
no. It's I
But
but the words are nice, still valid.
yep,
That
totally,
people around you miss you.
exactly. That's what happened. They become sad. But
Mm,
then there's a other point which I believe happens.
mhm,
Okay. And we had this discussion when one father of one of my friend died,
mm,
and he knew I was atheist, so he was kind of angry as well. So he asked, "What do you think?" Where he went, he was looking for a validation that his father would be in heaven and he would meet him someday. But I do not believe it, and he knows I don't believe it. This is what I
mhm,
said. I said, our body is carbon based, and we are
mhm,
made of matter. So when you burn it, because in North India you burn it,
mhm.
every carbon atom is converted into CO2, bones are converted into ash,
Yeah.
and pretty much our hairs are burned, our skins is burned, and we produce heat, we produce
Mhm,
light, we do produce sound.
mhm.
So basically, your father is not gone, he's just scattered everywhere. That's it.
Well, that's
That's what
very nice
happens.
of you to say that.
I mean that's true. That's what happened. I was being scientific, but it made him realize that yes, I have a point. That someone being dead is when they are gone. part, they are still in the air. They are still in this universe, a part of it.
Mm.
They're physically still in this universe, just scattered everywhere. They're just disorganized. That's it.
That's that's really nice. It makes me feel better because I have lost loved one. So has everybody listening. And
Yep.
I hope you can listen to this point, like your loved one, even though you can't see them or touch them, they are scattered all around you
Yeah, that's it. And
scientifically.
scientifically, because
Yeah.
that's the best proven theory. So
Mm,
I'll go with that.
And how do you respond to people who argue that atheism is immoral? Because that happens a lot.
Okay, keep on believing what you want. It does not affect me. I mean, honestly, that's what I say. Okay, good for you. But we are not
Mm.
the ones starting wars in the name of religion. So yeah, prove it based on facts. If you don't have facts, shut up. Simple as that.
Yeah,
I
but
don't. This would be the shortest thing that you asked. Actually, this is the only answer I have. I cannot
no,
prove
that's
it to them
no, that's cool. But my question is, have you ever been involved in some of it that when
online.
they say
Yes,
some, sorry, on
online. So when
online?
discussing online, it happens. In real life, no one says that.
Hmm. That is true though.
Again,
Like online, you have the cushion of being anonymous sometimes,
no,
and
not because of that. And again, I'm going to bring it to that point, and I'm not saying India is better in any way in this case. It's just because
Mhm.
the way our religion is brought up, it's okay to be an atheist. So they don't care. They don't think people are evil because of without religion. That's not the or that's not used to be the thought process. It may be now, but that was never the case for last 30 years of my life. I mean, I'm old. So,
we're in the same boat, mate.
well, I'm actually older than you. I'm pretty sure of that. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Yeah, I'm older than you. I'm like 5 years older than you, so that's why. But my
Okay.
point being, my point being that I'm not saying India is better in any way because the way our religion works is different, which is multiple gods and multiple religions, and including the fact that it was mentioned they can be Gnostic or atheists in Hinduism.
Mhm.
People really don't care if you are one. I mean,
Mhm.
intelligent enough people. Now things have changed because we have Modi government, which is a different problem,
Yeah.
which is a religious entity, which is one of your questions. I know it could be the next one, but yeah, things have changed, but that was not the case for the last 35 years. People did not care. So I never had anyone ask me this in real life. Online, yeah, sure, a billion times because I have been on internet since 2003, 2002. So
Mhm.
you can imagine about 20 years on internet, people would ask this.
Yeah, the thing with personal asking is sometimes the people that you know and they personally ask you, like you hardly see random people. You mostly friends and then hang out with them.
Exactly. That is true. That
So
is
when
true.
when you have a personal relation, then they
That is
don't want to ask you something that will dampen the mood,
that
right?
is true. That is totally true.
So that's why in personal life, not a lot of people talk about it. Like
Yep.
even my friends, even though they are religious, unless they bring up a topic, I will never bring up a topic. And even though they pray in front of me, but the one thing that happened, because I've told them I'm an atheist, they don't ask me to pray with them, right?
Yep. Yep.
And which is fair enough. I mean, whatever you want to do, go ahead and do that. But if you're going to ask me what my thoughts are, then in a polite way, I will tell them.
Yep.
Because
Totally.
at the end of the day, and for me, it's not much big of a deal with my friends,
Yep.
at least, because I know they're nice people. That's why I'm still friends with them.
Hmm.
And I do know that they'll help me whenever they can. So it's just the understanding that we have difference of opinion.
Yep.
Um,
Totally. And it's
and
easier that
that's
way.
and disagreeing well is a skill, right?
Yep.
And
Totally.
I think everybody should learn rather than yelling, which doesn't take us anywhere.
That
So
I totally agree. Yep. Totally. Because
mm,
it's mostly that you don't interact with anyone outside of your circle. Then anyone inside the circle would not ask you such question, and anyone outside would be totally professional, to be honest. And there's no
yeah.
need to ask that question. So it would make sense. It would only come through internet. You're right. Yep.
Mm. And how do you think we as an atheist community can promote understanding and acceptance between peoples of different beliefs? The reason I'm asking is because if there's a Hindu person, there's this superiority complex
Hmm.
that we are born in this religion, so yeah, we've done well. If there's a Muslim person, he'll think he's got a superiority complex, and so on. I
They do
find
have
that
superiority conflicts. They do. That would not be.
yes,
It would be a lie to
yeah.
say they don't.
No, I mean some atheists are people in the end, and some
Yep.
people are going to be d-bags, and some are not going to be d-bags.
Hmm.
But with atheism, you can like even I can point like this is a wrong thinking. You shouldn't think like that. So I don't care if that person is an atheist or Hindu or whoever. If somebody is
Hmm.
doing wrong or making some
Hmm.
bollocks claims, then A is wrong. If
Yeah.
it depends on what he does, that makes it right or wrong,
Okay.
regardless of which religion it is. But what I see most of the atheists, they if the Hindu has is in trouble, then they try and help that person, and then the same with Muslim
Yep.
and all that. Sometimes the religious people don't
Hmm.
like to listen to the reason of other party, whether they are right or wrong. They just think because you are this, then you are wrong. Whereas atheists still to some extent try to understand what are they trying to say and reason with them. How do you
I
think this sort of thinking can be?
no, no. I think this thinking that you're talking about has nothing to do with being religious. I
Mhm,
can say if a person, it's a human character. If human character is that okay, you know what? I don't care. They are not of the same faith as me,
mhm,
but I'll try to understand what they're saying, and then I'll try to fix it. That's a
mhm.
character of a person. This has nothing to do with either they're religious or not. That's what I believe.
Do
So
they do
it
it
may
on
be
the face or do they do it behind?
uh, fix or help to the face,
Mm.
unless I'm not getting your question actually. If that is different,
So maybe I haven't put it in the right way. So how do
okay.
I promote understanding and acceptance between people of different beliefs?
Education. Teach them evolution. Teach them science. Teach them quantum physics. Please teach them about cryptocurrencies. I really want that. um, because the more people realize that there is actually a proven field
Mm,
like evolution, for example. If you can teach someone there is a proven field called evolution, it does work, we
mm,
have the proof for it.
mm,
It's by logic, people who are wiser or who starts to become wiser would be
mm,
less religious. Simple as that.
mm,
I'm not going to tell them, you know what, there's no God, your God does not exist. That does not work. It's
mm,
like you're going to their doorstep and banging on their door and saying, you know what, get out. There's gas inside while you are just sitting and enjoying. That's not how it works. You have to
yep.
give proof to them that teach them since they're a
Mm,
kid. Teach them about evolution, teach them about all the scientific theories, teach them about maths. And as you
mm,
would do that, that's when they become less religious. It's all about
mm,
education at the end. I'm not going to
yeah.
promote atheism
Mm,
because atheism, as you saw right now, we are a circle, you and me. And for
mm,
both of us, atheism was byproduct of our thought process. It was
true.
not something someone told us. In fact, I would be really confident in saying that it would be 99% of the cases then atheists are born because they started thinking for
Mm,
themselves, right?
yeah.
So in the same way, if you
Mm,
teach kids about science, to how the world works, in like
mm.
physical realities, they will become less religious. Simple as that.
I I would like to use the word critical thinking in this as well, because
Hmm.
some people, even if you explore, like I was really bad at physics and all that, I just don't have the brain's capacity to learn that sort of things. But with critical thinking, you can try to understand things. It's like I'm thinking this is right, but hang on, let me check myself. Can
Yep.
there be other explanation for something?
Yep.
So I think this is a major skill that sometimes we lack,
Yes.
and the biasness comes into it a lot, and the
Yeah, totally.
argument from authority comes in a lot. So just seeing through that cloud, I think people really need to learn, and I think if humans weren't critically thinking about things, then we wouldn't have made progress.
Oh, totally, totally. Critical thinking
Because
and being curious.
yes, I mean, if you see computers in 2003, let's take you back, they were like big screens, and two people
CRT
needed,
computers.
yeah, two people were needed to lift one screen, and that
Mhm.
was just 15-inch, I think, when we started. And
Yes.
nowadays, a 27-inch or a 30 32-inch telly or TV. It doesn't matter. One person can just lift it and put it and all that stuff. So
Yep.
somebody would have critically thought like, okay, this is good, but let's do it this way. And now we look back and like that was a very ancient technology. But 10 years later, it'll be completely different again. And we'll be thinking, oh wow, who would do like 32-inch tellies and then put it on the wall and stuff where you can use something else, which is way more nicer. So,
Yeah.
and that all happens due to critical thinking. Do you think that there is any evidence that could convince you to believe in a higher power?
A higher power, if that exists, would know what evidence I would need.
Mm,
Because you can point out, let's say you're a religious person, you can point out any fact that you can think of proving God, and I'll find a reason why that fact is wrong. But if a God is all powerful, all knowing, like a God entity, like if you go to game and you enter cheat code, that kind of God, he or she would know what evidence I need to prove me that
mm,
there is such a thing,
okay.
if that
Yeah, that
answers your question.
no, it
It's not
does.
something you can do or he can do or that can do. It's
Mm,
more about such an entity would know what I need because that's what it does. It knows everything.
yeah, just to get a bit of clarification on that, because some people can perceive it differently. So
Okay.
I just want to ask, are you firmly committed to your atheism? Or if
Yes.
somebody, okay, cool. So if someone brings you
Unless
evidence,
no, not
uh,
someone. Not someone.
the God, it has to be a God.
Yes. Yes.
So if there is a God
Because
and he comes
because
and say, if there's
well
a God that comes
no
and say to you, hello, and then you would still critically think about it,
no
whether you're a God or not.
exactly exactly but that's not what I exactly said. I said
Mm,
he would know what I need. I don't know what I need to be
mhm.
proven.
Yeah,
He would know because that's supposed to be all knowing.
yeah,
So
cool.
you cannot convince me that's not possible. That
Okay.
is impossible. You as a human cannot convince me. No, no, no. That is not possible because you're a human as I am. I make mistake and I know you do too. So why would I
Yes, of
believe
course.
you? But an
Mm,
entity,
mhm,
all-knowing entity would know what I need
mhm.
to be convinced. So yeah,
Yes. No, that's cool. That's really helpful. And I hope a lot of people listen to it and then make their own mind. Because again, critical thinking is must. And
yep,
as you said, humans can make mistakes. So do I and you can as well.
mhm,
And
definitely.
any
So
last
why would
any
I listen
last
to?
yeah. Any
All
last
I'm saying,
words you
any
sorry,
less.
go ahead.
All I'm saying is like, why would I listen to a human for what exists or not? Why would I
Mm,
listen to a human for what exists or not?
mm.
That's all I'm
But
saying.
but if they have the evidence for, say, for example, they find a new planet and they prove
Okay.
it to you like
Yeah.
there is a
Yeah.
this planet and
Yeah. But that's not a human who is saying that. Human just found the evidence. Have a look at the evidence, not a human, right?
oh,
Think
that is
about that.
true. Yeah, no, very well said.
I don't care. I don't care if you're a human. I'm not believing you by because you said so. I'm going to look at the evidence. In the same way, is there God or not? I would like to listen from that God
Hmm.
to prove that he exists pretty much.
Yeah.
And if he's an all-knowing God, which is what gods are supposed to be, he would know, he would know
Hmm.
what evidence I need because he's supposed to know. He's all-knowing. I
Yeah, he
don't know what
would.
evidence I know. I need to be proven that there's a God.
Yeah, he would
So
know your cheat code to open.
exactly,
So,
exactly. So
no.
I'm not going to listen to any guy who provides
Mhm.
me evidence because I will look at that evidence and it's 100% wrong. But
Yeah.
if you have an all-powerful, all-knowing God, he's
Mhm.
supposed to know what I need to unlock me. So yeah, that's it. That's a reason. That's the only proof I need. Bring your God down and let him prove that he exists. And bring him the and he is supposed to know what evidence I need. I don't.
Yeah. Well, that's been an interesting talk. Any
Yeah.
last words before we leave that you want to say?
Not really regarding religion because 30 years of discussion, I've
Hmm.
not had anything else to say. It again depends on how you brought up, how wise you are.
Hmm.
I have a friend, she's from Brazil. She was Christian, as you would imagine, white lady.
Hmm.
And by the end of like 3 years with me, she ended up being non-religious, not because I told her that religion you should be an atheist, but because I told her what you believe in does not make sense. So giving her
Mm,
information that she needed. That's it. So if you think you are on the edge, perhaps stay on the edge. It's
mm,
both sides can be wrong technically. But religious
mm,
people and non-religious people can be wrong, and you are staying on the edge. So you get to decide which side do you jump on based
mm.
on your knowledge, your research. That's it.
No, very well said. So we should keep thinking about it. Let us think, and you can call me atheist.